Interstellar vision, honor in this living. Use the voice I'm giving, benefiting billions. Giving all the light that I have, cause that's what we need. You can tap into better halves that bleed. They come from the souls of majesty. Erase all the pain and tragedy. I'm glad that you're here and you're next to me. I'm praying and repent for the wrongs I've seen. I gave every cent to my wildest dreams. I'm living for myself in reality. Interstellar vision, honor in this living. Use the voice I'm giving, benefiting billions. Interstellar vision, honor in this living. Use the voice I'm giving, benefiting billions. Interstellar vision. All my days alive. Interstellar vision. All my days alive. All my days are alive. Our days are alive.
Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? Live 104.1 WXRW LP Milwaukee River West Radio. Your favorite live at 5 every Monday, Interstellar Vision, Intellectual Minds. A reminder that the Ghost Walk is happening for the second year in a row. Come stop down here at River West Radio 824 East Center and pick you up a copy of the Neighborhood Ghost Walk. It is a wonderful compilation of haunted house stories and spooky adventures that was made by a local author here in Milwaukee. And they do have books for sale that you could buy here. This is a specific fundraiser just for River West Radio and a great opportunity to get to know your 53212 River West Radio Harambe neighborhood better. So come check us out and see what's going on. 824 East Center. We love y'all. Today, a very awesome opportunity. I get to interview another artist educator, which I don't get to do all the time. There's a good amount of us out here, actually, which is amazing, but not necessarily to such a level of experience and quite the portfolio. A gentleman that has many skills in the artist scene, from production to engineering, which can be an aspect of production, vocal production, the DJ side of things. I'm sure that you got the MC skills and you just don't bust them out on us. But with that being said, no further ado, very excited to introduce Dscribe Music. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's an honor. I'm very excited. So, I'm going to go into before how we got connected,
Right.
which is cool. Let's start off right off with education. And what is your fundamental theory of what art and specifically music production does for a child's development?
Interesting. So, art and music production, in terms of, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a child's development, but just in terms of accessing different parts of your mind, having an outlet, and possibly just finding something you're good at. You know what I mean? Those seem like very basic things, but at the same time, they're really not. So in an age where there's really not arts in the schools, and they're paying contractors such as us to bring in those educators, to bring in those types of programming. Excuse me. Excuse me. When you can provide something like music production to young person that doesn't usually have access to the technology or the equipment, even if it's a $100 drum machine. You know, everybody doesn't have access to that. So it can go from just having an outlet, from banging on the buttons and playing around with something tactile to getting energy out, to learning how to count bars. So you're learning, you know, simple arithmetic, to learning the language of the science and the art, right? Learning what to call things and what a filter does, or what a compressor does, or what an equalizer does. And then without these kinds of programs, or without access, how are we supposed to even know if we're artists? You know what I mean? So I was raised by 2 science teachers. So if I didn't access hip hop to the degree that I had access to it, I don't even know if I'd be an artist right now. You know what I'm saying? I would be. I don't have a choice. That's who I am. But it could have been a whole different road. I'll just say that. So
Give us a little bit more. Are you saying that the science background helped your hip hop introduction?
no, it's just that I came from 2 science teachers who didn't have a lot of faith or experience in the arts. They're not artists. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that I was good at science, you know, just motivated them to further. You know, I went to engineering school, that type of thing. Now, before recording engineering, I was in school for engineering type thing. You know what I'm saying? So because I was able to do, you know, left and right brain things decently, my science teacher parents pushed me towards the science and mathematics route of things, and I found, you know, arts myself. So that's
So you're one of those. You are an example of someone that would have benefited from meeting someone like yourself at a younger age.
definitely, and that's a big part of the reason why I do what I do. I didn't have mentors or OGs or advisors, you know what I'm saying? So I remember at one point in time, we were probably in our late 20s, early 30s. A buddy of mine just sat down and just counted what we can remember, all the money we had spent in the stuff that we had bought and sold. It was enough, you know what I'm saying, for each of us to buy a house. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So, and that's just a lack of experience. We don't know what we're doing, what we're buying. We just trying this, trying that. And so one of my main purposes is to, once I find an artist who embraces their identity as an artist, is to help streamline their process and their learning curve so they can get to the good stuff right away, so they can find really what their pocket is or what their discipline within this art is right away.
What is some of that? Now, you did just give a huge hint because there are so many disciplines. This might be a double-sided or a two-piece question. Hopefully you remember the questions better than I do. But question number 1 is maybe like, what are some of the different disciplines that someone could look at for art, and specifically hip-hop? And then number 2 is, when you just said you want to streamline them to the good stuff, what is some of that good stuff? Of course, even knowing what discipline to choose is maybe, but yeah, both those questions, if that's okay.
Those are great questions. So within hip hop or within digital audio even, right? And just to keep it at digital audio, so it doesn't necessarily have to be hip hop. We have kids who love pop, podcasting, DJing, EDM, that type of thing. So within this digital audio and hip hop education thing that we do, obviously there's the songwriting, which can be separate from being a vocalist, or it can be accompanied by. So writing songs, vocalizing songs, recording songs, music production, which goes past just making the beat. It goes to completing the actual song with the artist in the studio. There's podcasting. There's mixing the music after the music is produced and recorded. There's mastering, which falls under recording engineering, those two things. There could be voiceover work. And all of these things, once a youth grabs onto those, or a person grabs onto those and realizes they have real talent in these areas, can lead to, you know what I mean? So a 15-year-old that's a podcaster could lead to the next Jimmy Fallon, the next Jennifer Holliday, the next big talk show. You know what I mean? So those are the things, because you don't know what you're good at until you try it. So helping them streamline that curve and get to the good stuff is, okay, well, what you do? I don't do anything. I don't know what I do. Okay, what do you and your friends sit around talking? I don't know. Okay, well, sit in front of these microphones for a while. I'm going to walk out the room. I'm going to sit in front of the mics and just see what happens. Right? So then that little 15 minutes of them on the mic, are they hosts? Are they comedic talent? Are they vocalists? Are they singing or rapping or freestyling? Without me in that room, it's a little more free. No adult sitting over them listening. So it's really just listening to them tell me which type of artist they are, or what combination of all those disciplines that they have the talents in. Sometimes they don't know. Oh, you a host and a writer, but you don't know that. I never wrote nothing. You just did, though, but you don't know. Watch. No, just sit here with me. Watch. Doing what if and what if. Oh, and what if. Next thing you know, there's a script or a story or a song or a podcast outline written by somebody who doesn't think they can write, You know what I mean? So that's finding the discipline within the art and then helping them get to the good stuff that they can get fulfillment out of and be good at.
Just you talking about, and I see education in the same way in regards to you could be the next whoever, and something that I'm really excited about today's playing field because of the internet is that you can be 15 and be the next that. You don't have to wait. I don't follow this gentleman too closely, Lil Tyler,
okay.
and I can't even name a song.
Right, right.
Respectfully,
I'm there with you.
Or like Star Bands is a young lady that I know, and you're talking about 15, 16 with millions of views. What is your suggestion when it comes to? And this again might be a double question, but just what is your suggestion on someone that has dreams but is afraid to pursue them regardless of the age that they're at? And then if you want to tailor it specifically to younger, but I think that, regardless of age, it kind of could be similar advice.
Just know that if you're too afraid, there's a lot of people who have less talent that aren't too afraid. And I put it the same way to youth as I do adults. Do you want to do this? Then do this. But also understand, if you want this to be something that you can live off of like a job, you have to do it like a job, which means every day. But that don't mean 2 hours every day. That means like a job, at least a part-time job, at least a 4-hour shift literally, whether you're conceptualizing, writing, practicing, recording, or all combination of combination of those things, or on other parts of it. Do it. And once you start, you don't stop, because nobody's going to hear you, right? So I don't want to ever be in a situation where I was, oh, man, I wish I had. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to young people, that's the best time, man. This is the best time. Believe me. This is the best time. You got all the time in the world to come back to what you think you may need to do to pay some bills. But go do that. Have some fun. Get some friends together, formulate some good ideas and some good plans. But do what you really have passion for, because that's what you're going to put the most energy in and do the best. And realize that if you're going to work for yourself and with yourself, you're going to work harder than any other situation you'll ever experience.
Now, you just mentioned a lot of great points. And one is you said start and don't stop. What is your advice to someone when they're in those tough times where they feel like they want to give up on what they were pursuing? And can you give one or two stories of when you thought that you had to throw in the towel and you thought it was over for you, and then, some amazing opportunity came because you continue to persevere?
Yeah, you don't stop because you don't know what's coming. You don't know who you're going to meet at the next event. You don't know who you're going to meet when you're eating lunch at 3rd Street Market. That literally happened to me. So if you stop, you literally stop all your possible blessings or the fortune you may have coming from the universe, however you may want to put that. But for anybody who feels like it's time to stop, I'm a very practical and bottom line and down to earth type dude. I'm not very. I think inspiration comes from action and result, right? So if you feel like you want to stop, I'm just gonna be real with you. You're going to regret it. There's two sides to this. If you feel like you want to stop, there may be something to think about. If you feel like you want to stop, this is becoming a burden. Maybe this isn't something that you thought that you loved as much as you thought you did. That's a possibility, and that's fair, and that's okay. That's okay. If you find out it's something that you don't love and that you don't want to do, that's something for you to pause and think about. If you're getting tired or you feel like nobody's hearing you, but you feel like you still have something to say, man, if you're just frustrated, if you're not tired or you're not burdened, if you're just frustrated and feel like you might not be getting heard, man, I'm tired of this. You got to get through that. You have to, everybody who, from an author to a broadcaster, has a fruit to somebody's child, has a time in which they feel like they're not being heard. Every human being goes through that. So if you're that person that's always going to express yourself in some way, shape, or form, you might as well sit in front of that microphone and that camera and keep doing it, because you're still going to journal, or you're still going to sketch, or you're still going to compose, or you're still going to have these conversations with your friends. So do all of that in front of that microphone. Do what you're going to do anyway in front of that microphone and that camera, and figure out a couple ways just to help people, to draw more people into your story. Even if you ain't feeling it that day, that can be part of that day's conversation. That should be part of that day's conversation.
I love that. And I noticed that myself as a content creator and consumer, something that I know, there's a gentleman named JP, the brand in the city, 414 JP. And you know what I've been loving from him, honestly, of all things, is his motivational Mondays. You know, that he posts out. And shout out to his brother and partner T Woods, also a producer and artist in the city, that does a lot of good work. And like I like with T, like it is when he just be like talking to the camera and doing his motivation. You know what I'm saying? So I think what I'm noticing right now is, one, authenticity is winning the game.
Yes.
Completely.
Always.
And then number two, on top of that, like, people, the music is almost more of the second tier priority now. Like, the music's going to win, but
they want to like you.
Yeah.
Your story. Right? So that's why I agree. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's why I agree. And that's why those two statements connect. And that's why authenticity is king, because they want to like and love you as a person. Then they'll check out what you got to offer. You know what I mean? So, and if you quit, they're never going to know your story.
And it's okay to be vulnerable. Not even is it okay.
Yes.
It's great. Like how you just said, oh, if I'm having a bad day, you know what I'm saying?
Talk about it that day. Yeah. And that honesty, you know, is that authenticity that you speak of, which leads them to, you know, having a window into your life and feeling like they know you more, and then buying into your story. And then, oh, man, he got a song out. Let me hear what he's talking about, because I like the conversation he had last Wednesday or last Monday. You know what I'm saying? So that all links together. So, yeah, and it's not a thing where if you're online or you're a content creator or you're a personality that you have to be invincible or a superhero or perfect all the time. No. More people buy into stuff they can relate to. So be your honest and your truthful you, like I said. So
I love it. We're going to take a brief song break. Makeup or Breakup by Miss Caprice Maxwell.
What? It's Miss Caprice. Make up to break up. 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 When I look into your eyes, I see that I'm your prize. Whenever you are by my side, I wanna ride, just ride with you. Everything just seems to be alright. we gotta make up to break up. Break up, oh, oh. Make up to break up. Oh, you ain't really even going nowhere. Make up to break up. Make up to break up. Maybe if you knew how to move your shoes, maybe I won't always have an attitude. And don't forget to let down that seat and watch your aim if you gotta be. And I will do my best to cook and clean at night, rubbing, squeezing, hugging all through the night. And don't be late 'cause you know I start a fight, because you're the love of my life. So we gotta make up before we break up. Yeah, yeah. Make up to break up. Make up to break up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Make up to break up. I missed you up and now you want to leave, but I'm still here, always here. You took my hand and vowed to always be, baby. And so we gotta make up to break up. Yeah, yeah. Make up to break up. To break up, yeah. Make up to break up. Make up to break up. Make up to break up. Make love after we break up. Make up. Oh, you're mad, but when we break up, we're gonna make up, yeah. Make up to break up. Ooh, make up to break up. Oh, no. You're still my boo. You're still my boo. Always make up with you. You're still my boo. You're still my boo. Always make up with you. Yeah, yeah. I'll always make up with you.
What's going on, y'all? We live 104.1 WXRW LP River West Radio, your favorite live at 5 every Monday. Interstellar Vision, Intellectual Minds, hanging out with Dscribe Music. So we are going to fast forward, then reverse. So we just met each other in 2023. Dscribe, I met him through your move, and he was leading the Restorative Justice Cipher at the time. And it was really cool. We just got connected, and I got to hear a little bit about his education background with music, and some work that he had done at UW Green Bay. And for me, this is really fun, because I get to hear the story of what led up to this education work. Because, of course, as an artist, it's not always education. In the beginning, you're, creating the art yourself and learning before you can share it with anybody else. And you had just mentioned about being raised by science teachers that were really promoting the heavy engineering route, and maybe weren't taught, although, of course, engineering is creative as well. It is very logical process too, unless you're inventing or creating something new. Otherwise, it's following systems. Right. And not that creating art isn't following systems either. Well, but yeah, just excited to hear about how hip hop came across into your life, and when you made the transition into being in hip hop education rather than just experiencing it yourself. Or playing it yourself, per se.
Right. Okay, so grew up with two educators as parents, science teachers, and one, my father became an administrator, which means vice principal, and then ironically enough, I just got done working at Howard Fuller for that year, Howard Fuller Collegiate Academy here in Milwaukee. My father in the 90s created a couple schools with Fuller when he was a superintendent here. And there was times when I was a student, in school here, and we go to a different high school or something for a dance, And Doc would be, I call him Doc. Doc would be DJing. Dr. Fuller would be DJing at that. You know what I'm saying? So my parents were educators from segregation south, great migration north to find jobs, and education was key and all that type of thing. And I was good at school, so they really encouraged me and directed me and helped focus my energy towards school. Did well in school. Always, was raised by the radio. Not a lot of my mother would argue, but there wasn't no music in my house growing up. It was like 4 pieces of music. I'm the only one that played them. 45 of another one by Stardust Queen, the Wiz LP, a George Benson 8-track, and then like a Lionel Richie 45. I'm the only one that ever played these things in the house, right? So wasn't really any music in the house. I'm listening to the radio every day. So I was, I'm an 80s baby, pop, radio, Michael Jackson, Janet, Madonna, all that's what raised me, the radio type thing, right? So, and then I have an older brother who's 6 years older than me, and we shared a room. And then he started to bring in, first things I remember is like soundtrack to Beat Street, a group called the Skinny Boys, who from Philly, stuff like the NWA, stuff like that. So I'm starting my 6 years older brother. So I'm guessing he's 16, I'm 10-ish. So this is 86-ish. Yeah, yep. So, like a lot of KRS-One, Ice Cube, and NWA. Like I said, Beat Street soundtrack, he's playing them in the room. I remember, I can see it in my head, a turntable and him scratching like this. And I brought this up to him the other day. He's like, "You remember that, man?" Man, that's embarrassing. I know. Because he didn't know what he was doing. He was trying, but he didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember the first Milwaukee hip-hop I ever heard. And that was a group called Attack. That included Peachy, who was Speech from Arrested Development. Todd Peachy Thomas, who is Speech now. T.A. Wiz, who was a super Milwaukee MC, who you used to see Twan Mack, rest in peace, as well as Strick, and other people celebrate yearly. He was murdered in Milwaukee decades ago. So it was Peachy, Speech, T.A. My cousin was Special K, the DJ. Those are the three that I remember. That's the first Milwaukee hip-hop I remember. That's late 80s. And so that's how I got into hip-hop, getting in the car to go to school in the morning. My mom would turn on the stereo, and my brother left in Eazy-E. Eazy-E, I got, good Lord, you may have a lot of, but I got, and she's just looking at him. And I'm like, oh, but I need that song, though. I need that song. So that's how I found hip-hop. And then just
So at a young age. Well,
my brother,
10, 11, 12.
Yeah, my brother exposing it to me 10, 11, 12. That's a young age. Like these days, they grow up with it. They rhyming by the time they're 10, 11, 12, or trying to. That's kind of when it hit me, hit the Midwest type thing. And then from then on, my brother getting older and, him being an adult and not being in the house as much, and I'm finding my way through hip-hop and late 80s, 90s, and I'm finding that I like almost everything, East Coast, West Coast. I'm from the Midwest. I like Southern. And so I got my boys who are on 24th and Locust playing No Limit before Master P ever had a contract, because he had Down South Hustlers and West Coast Bad Boys mixtapes that were national. I got my school buddies. I went to private school. I got my school buddies into backpack lyrical rap. I got my other homies on 33rd who are into the pimp stuff. Got gangsta. So it was, it was just everything. And so I could hear everything. And I just never heard so many ideas at once. And just people writing and speaking so strongly, people that look like me and was close to my age. So that's how I found it. And so the journey just continued, just honing your taste, hitting, and I'm old, you know what I'm saying? We in Milwaukee, I went to Marquette High, so we hit the bus from Marquette High straight down to the Grand, get some tapes at Tape World, switch, dub, switch, trade, between the homies, and it just goes on from there. And then you start to have ideas about, I could do this or I could do that, and you know, and I remember my first goals being like, man, I just want to be able to make a mixtape as a DJ that my homies would like, and then like one piece of music people will remember. You start to write down samples. This Prince song from minute and 30 to a minute and 40. I'm finna sample that. I don't know how to sample nothing. I don't know how to make no beats. You know what I'm saying? So then it goes to starting to research how to make beats and what kind of machines are available. And I dropped out of college, went back to college. My second university, my homie had extra financial aid money, so he became the producer because he had the money to buy the equipment. So it was 4 of us, and so that's in Madison, where the actual recording career started. We had a couple albums up there. They're on
So you went to a different university first?
Yeah. So went to Marquette High School here, and then went to North Carolina A&T State because I was done with Wisconsin and white males, frankly. So I went to a HBCU, which is a historically black college or university. And being that I thought I was going to be a genetic or chemical engineer, I went to the university that graduated the most black engineers of any university in the nation the previous year, which was North Carolina A&T State down in Greensboro. It was the State Technical School, a black engineering school. So that's where I went for a year and a half. I had a chemical engineering scholarship, had my name on a patent at 3M, like in the summertime, mixing up, like making sandpaper, mixing up stuff to say like in the lab like a mad scientist. But you get back to school and it's like, I can do it, but it's 17 credits every semester. I don't get to eat with my friends. I don't get to eat lunch like with my friends. I got 2 sciences, calculus, and an engineering class every semester. Like, I just don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? So frankly, honestly, I just called my mom's first semester, like the first week of sophomore year, and said, I've always known I'm not going to do something that I don't want to do. And it might be some rebellion stuff, but I'm not really going to put real effort and drive and discipline into something that doesn't motivate me. That's just the way I'm wired. So I called her and told the science teacher that I'm dropping out of college. I said, right after my big brother dropped out of college. So she wasn't happy with that, but it was the best move for me. I was able to regroup, come back to Milwaukee, work a job, Burlington Coat Factory for a couple of years, and then, have some extra motivation. Derek, take your butt back to school. Don't be like me. You don't want to be Burlington Coat Factory when you're 50 type stuff. That was dope. Ended up at Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin up in Madison. So that's where I finished, right? So my parents, as educators, gave me the best possible education for a little black boy from Milwaukee. I went to the best high school in the state, went to the best university in the state. And it all feeds into what I do because as an accountant. So I went from University of Wisconsin to Minneapolis, where I worked as an assistant buyer for Marshall Fields, which is now Macy's. Then I moved to D.C. to run a small studio and do some. I had some accounting jobs out there. I was out in D.C. 2008. I lost my last accounting job, and that's when I decided that no other person will ever be in charge of whether or not I eat. You know what I'm saying? So I decided, I thought for a minute, what do I know the most about? One of those things was music, and that made the most sense to me. So I was lucky enough to have a friend that lived on the East Coast and went out to Oakland for 5 years and, crashed with her and had some different jobs. But I was able to start to hustle up some contracts and learn that process. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just going to community centers and, you got a studio? Well, let me mentor your 22-year-old studio manager. Or, y'all know how to use Pro Tools? Well, if he ain't here, you need to know how to use it. Creating contracts for myself. And then I got a call from a Boys and Girls Club in Green Bay. A guy who, shout out Rashad Cobb, the de facto mayor of Green Bay. He's COO of the United Way up there. He hooked me up with a Boys and Girls Club there that was part of a national initiative. 3 cities only. 12 people had my job. Only 4 in music in the whole country. So 3 cities. We were tasked with creating digital arts programming from scratch at a high quality level outside of the school environment. And it was all up to me. You know what I mean? So that opportunity presented itself. So I moved from Oakland, California, back to Wisconsin, to Green Bay, Wisconsin, to do that job. That job solidified me as a national expert because it was a national pilot program funded by the Wallace Foundation, and they funded an independent research body to confirm that us as the first wave were successful, and now they rolled out sites nationwide based on our programming. So now I can consult. I started consulting. And that started in Green Bay because that's when I got solidified. I left finance and accounting, got solidified in music education. Started presenting at conferences at UW, hip hop education conferences, about how to use hip hop in the classroom, or even for teachers trying to identify better with their students. I still do, how to listen to a rap song, because Bob Dylan has 15 words per stanza. We have within 16 bars, we have 200 something words and many more ideas. It's just it's a much more dense type of writing. So for you to listen and understand the song and really the different language with the slang, we got to sit here and talk about this. And and you get an idea, you miss the next coup because you marveling over what this man that dropped out of 8th grade but can still write just said, and you missing the next two ideas. We have to learn how to listen to hip hop songs. Have to learn how to listen to the production musically, listen to it musically. We have to learn how to analyze it. We have to learn the language, right? So
That's an amazing program.
and that's just, just think about that. It doesn't have to be a race thing, but any teacher who did not grow up listening to hip hop,
Yeah.
trying to identify with these kids,
Yeah.
they speak in the cadence of, the language of, the slang, the ideas, the culture. So without understanding that, you're a long way from understanding your kids in the classroom, and that's not going to work.
Well, something that's special about your story that is important to point out is that, you started with a chemical engineering scholarship.
Yeah.
This isn't just like, I went to school for chemical engineering. You were essentially drafted to come to school for chemical engineering. Like, they thought that you were so good at this that they paid for you to come be a part of their education system to represent their university.
Right.
And, since that time, you haven't touched chemical engineering in any way, shape, or form. And just the idea that you could think that your life is going to be on a certain trajectory and then it completely goes another route. And what is your suggestion to... We kind of talked about this earlier when you talked about, having to decide if something is too much of a burden or if it's just like, I really just don't want to do this. However, what is your perspective on having the flexibility to make shifts and be free from your expectations?
You have to have that flexibility, and you have to be able to be free. And I talk to students about that as well as adults all the time. And I use my own story. You know what I'm saying? I was 17 freshman year, so I was 18 when I called my mother and made this literal life-changing decision. I gave up a life at an all-black college in North Carolina. That was fun. It's great school, but 7-to-1 ratio, and we kicking it, right? I gave up that money, the scholarship money. So then the question is, then how do we rebound and pay for whatever school I'm going to have? I gave up the scholarship opportunity of having that job for me. The scholarship included a job right after I graduated. So that was a guaranteed, in 1995, that's a guaranteed $100,000 job, which is crazy. I gave up the prestige of going through that program, working for that company, and having that degree. I don't care, because that's not what I'm finna do. And I think I had it's a rough experience, but I think it helped me. My parents did what their hearts did, what they wanted, and did what their hearts were into, which is education, especially educating young children of color, and within environments like Milwaukee that are segregated and institutionally filled with obstacles for us, right? So I saw them put their heart into it, but then also it took everything out of them. My father's had 2 strokes. My mother has terrible health. I was like, I'm never, ever, ever going to let anything do that to me, right? So I just had to make sure. So that, and I remember, and you know what I'm saying, like I left the job because I woke up one morning and got a stomach ache getting ready for the job. I'm never gonna let a job manifest bad situations or circumstances when it comes to my physical health or my quality of life. I will never let a job do that to me. Only way I'm gonna let that do that to me is if I'm working for myself, like working myself into the ground. And even then I won't let happen. So we have to be able to make those changes and do what's healthy for ourselves and recognize what's healthy for ourselves, whether you're 18 in college, whether you're 35, and you can't be this therapist because all these other people's problems or issues, are issues and situations are weighing too heavily on you, and you can't even help them. I have a friend who was going through that. But we got to be able to say, I know what I've invested in this situation, but this situation is going to kill me, or it's not going to let me live. I'm not about surviving, I'm about living, right? So that flexibility to make a choice, to go against what you thought was going to happen, think it out, take the time, just understand it's okay. We all make mistakes. Everybody, very rarely do we get life-determining situations and decisions correct the first time. And you got to be able to have grace, give yourself grace to make the correction. But think it through and make sure that correction is correct. You see what I'm saying? So
we're going to take another song break. We're going to spin this track here from Kiba, Save a Prayer.
Praying for me, safe, knowing I'm weak. Shawty praying for me when I cannot speak. Knowing I'm weak. Save a prayer for me when I'm knowing I'm weak. Shawty praying for me when I cannot speak. Save a prayer for me, save a prayer for me. Save a prayer for me, save a prayer for me. Save a prayer for me when I'm knowing I'm weak. Shawty praying for me when I cannot speak. Save a prayer for me, save a prayer for me. Save a prayer for me, save a prayer for me. Speak to you the same way I think Adam probably spoke to Eve. I know this ain't a part of your religion, got you smoking trees. And I ain't trying to muddy up your vision or stop you from your mission. But let's just say for instance, if we found true love between us, would God consider it sinning? Or to look at us as a pair of these innocent children? We ain't doing nothing, it's innocent, we be chilling. But when we get together, the energy always hitting just save a prayer for me when I'm knowing I'm weak. Shawty praying for me when I cannot speak. Save a prayer for me, save a prayer for me. Save a prayer for me, save a prayer for me. Save a prayer for me when I'm knowing I'm weak. Shawty praying for me when I cannot speak. Save a prayer for me, save a prayer for me. Save a prayer for me, save a prayer for me. Remember I put arcs inside your back just like no red. You woke up one day and said, God told you get over us. I wanna pull up knocking on your door just like Jehovah and tell you I need closure. It ain't over till I say it is. We was just in love and now you treat me like I'm Satan kid. I promise you I'm close to y'all. I never been a Satanist, but if we cannot make amends, need space to take this in and hope I'm always in forever where your prayers live. So save a prayer for me when I'm knowing I'm weak. Shawty praying for me when I cannot speak. Save a prayer for me, save a prayer for me. Save a prayer for me, save a prayer for me. Save a prayer for me when I'm blowing I'm weak. Shawty praying for me when I cannot speak. Save a prayer for me, save a prayer for me. Save a prayer for me, save a prayer for me.
Yo, what's going on? We live 104.1 WXRW LP Milwaukee, River West Radio. Your favorite live at 5 every Monday. Interstellar Vision, Intellectual Minds, hanging out on episode 101. And you getting music production as a career unexpected 101 right here from Dscribe Music. And brother, we were just talking a little bit off air about different opportunities in your life. And you said a really powerful message, especially as we were just talking about change and transitions, and how every time that you thought that you lost something in life, something better came along the way. Do you want to share any stories, or just kind of how does somebody endure? How does somebody wait long enough to like get to see the other side? You know, because I feel like what actually hurts a lot of people is that they are of so little faith, and then they allow something that looks tragic to break them rather than making them. Where you've allowed, you know, tragedy might be a deep word, but hardship.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Yeah, fair. But these intense moments, you know, to make you rather than break you, and find higher callings. So can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah. I tell people all the time.
I'm actually, give me 1 second. I'm going to get this on the vid. We need it. Okay, 3, 2, 1, we go.
Yeah, it's big you brought that up. You know, I tell people all the time, whether you want to make a change professionally, older, as an older person, or as a youth, you want to embark onto a content creating or entrepreneurial career, I tell people, if you make a decision and make serious moves towards that decision, I call it the universe, will start to get out of your way, and it will make room for you. But when I say serious moves, I don't mean, I tried this for 2 weeks, I did this for a month, oh, I got another job, what am I supposed to, that's all excuses when it comes down to it. There have been the people who are successful, who had to work for it. There have been people who have skipped meals. There have been people who haven't had somewhere to live because of certain decisions to get certain situations off the ground. That's the type of realness I'm talking about, right? So I was lucky enough, and I kind of knew what kind of person I was going to be. I designed my life so I don't have kids, right? So if there's any struggle, because this life ain't all beautiful. It's feast and it's famine. Feast, contract, ooh, big contract. Ooh, when the next contract coming? I thought that contract was coming, but it's not. Oh, big contract. But in the bottom there, you might have to skip a couple meals. Because I don't have kids, that's fine for me. But everybody else, most people have kids. So there's going to be things that test you. And if you let it's really a test, man. These are things that are here to test you and test your seriousness. Test how bad you want this. So are you going to skip a meal and make sure that baby got them oodles and noodles, but you still skip that meal in order for you to reinvest, or in order for you to make this move and go to wherever you need to go to? My faith is in myself. It takes faith. Like you said, people of little faith. Like, how long does this take? The way I looked at it is this. I had a charmed life. My life has been beautiful. So if I really want to do this, I've had a path laid out for me through education and through what my parents provided me, that I could be making a couple $100,000 right now as a finance industry worker, or, you know, however that may be. But I understand, though, if I make this decision to go my own route, and just, it includes, you know, conditioning yourself to live from a place of abundance, understand that these things are coming. You don't know when they're coming, but because you are putting your full heart and soul into this, it is coming. And because you are not going to stop, because you are serious, because nothing is going to stop you. Literally nothing will stop you. That's when it will happen. It ain't going to I hate to tell you this, but it ain't going to happen when you got a safety net. Because when you got a safety net, what you going to do? Use your safety net. It's not going to happen when you got a safety net. This has to be what you do.
Ooh, it's inspiring, brother. I'm going through a similar experience right now. I haven't worked full-time since 2021 when I was teaching at MAS. And, I just been, you know what I'm saying? It's been there. And we was at the bottom. And, I just was talking to my sister today, like, I might have to take this job opportunity, even though I don't fully agree with all of it. Like, I agree with a lot of it, whatever. And it's just like, just because things are getting real. And I had one phone call today that changed my life. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it was on the last possible day that it could have happened. You know what I'm saying? And man, I read I read my Booker T. Washington's autobiography.
Okay.
And there was a day where they were $400 short of something to like build something at the school. And mind you, $400, I mean, that's probably like $4,000 or $40,000, whatever that is.
These days, yeah.
I mean, we're talking at least 10x. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then he just got two checks the day of. Two separate $200 checks the day of. You know, and I'm sure that you've experienced those moments yourself,
Yes.
where it looks like there's no possible way, and then
Yes, it's always darkest before the dawn. All them cliches, you know what I'm saying?
can we speak on any more general life cliches that you have?
Your network is your net worth. Keep pushing. I really mean that. Like I tell people when I see people like you and us, people like us, keep pushing, which means don't stop. If you stop, you'll never get to where you want to get to, and you will always regret that. You know what I'm saying? So your network is your net worth. Keep pushing.
You want to elaborate on that, because some people will not understand what that means.
You're only. So let's think of it a couple different ways. You're only as philosophically. Even morally, you're only as good as the company you keep, right? So the people around you will tell me about you. So your network, I'm looking from the outside in, your network tells me about, I'm not your worth as a person, but it tells me about what you have to offer society. What you, I know them. I know them. Right? So, but also, there's many times, like, the unexpected turn of me not being at Fuller this year, I can call the director of the recording department at UWGB. What you got for me this semester, buddy? Oh, let's see what we got. Oh, it don't work this semester? Oh, no, let's work on email about the spring semester and see what kind of load we can create to make sure it's worth it you coming up here. That's network. That's just somebody that I met along the way that understood, and we understood that we were both serious about what we do and we love what we do, and so that creates an opportunity for you. And if you see, if people understand, like I said, that you're serious, you've shown the universe that you're serious. If this universe sees that you're serious about what you want to do, people will see that.
And I love how you use the word serious in some of the specific examples that you gave. It takes a different, like, I've been through the missed meals. I don't know if you know this. I slept in my car for 2 winters straight, in Milwaukee.
I did too, in Green Bay.
Okay.
And your move, like, coming back and forth.
Yeah.
I did. That's what I'm talking about.
And
you never know what people go through to get what they want, get what they need, get what they need. You know what I'm saying? So.
And it's just serious. It's like, what's more important, your temporary unknown or your permanent known, because that vision is permanent. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, just like you've been basically saying, if you got more words to say, you know what I'm saying, keep saying them. Don't, just because you don't got the attention yet, that don't mean that it's not there for you, as long as you see it.
Just because a million ears ain't listening don't mean the right pair isn't going to hear you on that day. That one pair of right ears that needs to hear that one day, that's worth it.
Special. I'm going to semi-wrap up here and ask first my favorite last question that I ask to every guest. And it does kind of tie into, I don't remember the word that you just used, but some of the free game you just been given. And my last question to every guest is, if today was your last day, you're guaranteed not to wake up tomorrow. As soon as it hits midnight, October 7th, your body will be done and your spirit will transition. And before you transition, you are given a stone tablet. And on that stone tablet, it talks to text what you say into it. And whatever you say gets engraved into the stone. And you are asked to give your 2 suggestions for living, in the words that you've been using, the most blessed possible life that the universe can provide. What are those 2 suggestions that you have for everyone listening? Because when you pass they get a hologram of the stone in front of them. So what would be your 2 suggestions to live the most blessed life from the universe in this earth?
Right now. Okay. Dang. This is kind of funny because I went to Catholic school my whole life, but I'm not even a Christian. Treat people how you want to be treated. And if you know, don't stop.
Where does treat people where you want to be treated get you?
That's such a basic rule, and if you really are serious about that thing, about just being decent to people, if being decent to people who are decent to the world, I judge people by how they treat waiters and bartenders and janitors, that type of thing. If you're serious about that, that's another thing the universe will look out for you for, because of. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a human decency thing. It ain't got to get you nowhere. It's just being a decent person, man.
And then if you know, don't stop. I'm assuming this relates to kind of what we were just speaking on.
If you know who you are, if you know you're supposed to do this, that, and the other, if you know you are this thing, be that thing. Don't stop.
Brother, just to ensure that we have enough time because we're down to the last minute 25, where can people stay up to date with you? And there's a lot to stay up to date on, so feel free to share any upcoming releases, events, so on and so forth.
Social, Dscribe Music, DSCRIBE Music, all one word. LinkedIn, Derek Holt, DERRICKHOLT. Bandcamp is under the socials as well.
And any upcoming projects you're excited about that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, man. MMC with Godzilla and the Boys. Me and Elite Tracks from band Milwaukee Pad Masters got Delete coming. Me and Orion Rhymes are OD. We're Odd. As well as my solo album coming, produced entirely by Rays. Shout out Dead Boy.
Y'all heard it here. We live 104.1 WXRW LP River West Radio Milwaukee. Your favorite live at 5 every Monday. Interstellar Vision, Intellectual Minds. It's been a great hour, brother. Getting a glimpse into your story. I really appreciate a lot of the wisdom and a lot of the gems that we got to get to, and it's just fun to hear about where you came from, what you've been through, how music wasn't always, the intended path. I think a lot of people are going to benefit from what they got to hear today.
I hope so.
I love it. Hey, man, y'all have an absolutely amazing night. We love y'all here at River West Radio. Remember, the Ghost Walk is happening. Come get your book today.
Ghost Walk.